but whatever. No, I'm just kidding.
Hello,
Saving the best
everybody. Welcome to the final book club live show of 2022.
Oh my God, I forgot.
House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. This is our book. We all have it. Look at us go. I was a little late to my own live show because I could not find my shirt. And I was digging through the laundry and I was like, I know it's in here somewhere. I popped on here just a couple minutes ago and I was like, I'm ready. I feel prepared.
I was supposed to change sweaters, but I end up wearing my most comfortable one, which is also a statement. But I always feel bad. It's like protect Black women at all costs. But it's so comfortable.
It looks cozy.
I just try to match the book at these live shows.
Oh, wow. You had a plan. Show us your mug.
Oh, yes.
That's a good one, too.
Gotta get all the vampy vibes. And my bat earrings. My bat.
Oh,
shit!
Earrings.
It's all
nice. I took out my ghost earrings, but yeah.
I haven't put earrings in probably 3 years, so I don't think I could even get anything in there.
3 years.
Okay, sorry. Let me do a proper introduction. This is the Literally Dead Book Club. We read 10 books a year together. We are now on a hiatus for 2 months. In February, we will be reading the 3rd book in the Finley Donovan series because I want to read some cozy mysteries with you guys, and that comes out next year. But right now we're talking about House of Hunger. I have some awesome guests who are linked in the description, but I'll have them introduce themselves. I always love to hear like a favorite thriller, mystery, or horror book from you, so people just get a vibe for your vibe. Bree has been here a lot this year, but it's been a couple months, so maybe she has something new. And this is Jan's first time here, so right after you give your little intro, if you want to give us the synopsis of the book, that is how we indoctrinate. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Newbies into the book club by forcing you to, on the spot, explain the book to us all.
All right. So before Bree goes, I say the synopsis. Is that how it goes?
Oh, I don't know. Let's do. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your channels. Tell me about your book, and then let's do the synopsis.
All right. Deal. All right. So hello, I'm Jan from Jan Agaton, and I read anything, but except like sci-fi. But anyway, my favorite horror book is hands down A Dowry of Blood, which is also vampy. So
I have that right here.
Have you read it yet?
Yes, I was going to recommend it at the end of the live show. No spoilers. Bree.
Oh, sorry.
It was a little intro.
I'm nodding.
Kayla, you know I hate this part. I hate it so bad. Okay, so my name is Bree. I have a channel called Lock Booktition. Also Lot Plantition when I talk about plants, but I've been on a hiatus from that because I don't know what to say. And me and my plants are having an argument currently. Me and Paradise had an issue this morning. She act like she want to lean. I want her to be a present and alert to what's going on in the world. Anyway, on my channel, I do read primarily crime fiction. Not primarily, for the most part. I do read a lot of manga, comics. I love historical fiction. And I'll pretty like everyone else. I pretty much will read anything. I don't know what else to say. So that's that. And we're gonna do the favorite books at the end or right now.
I would love to hear if you have any like recent favorite thrillers or mysteries or horror.
All right, here we go. Favorite, one of my favorite comics. That is horror and mystery. Is Something is Killing the Children. This is book 1. Recent fave also Lock and Key, volume 1 through 6. This is volume 5. This is my favorite volume.
Have you watched the show?
I have, and I also liked it. So I'm one of those people who like the show and like the book. I'm just continuing down this, which is Monster, which is my favorite horror manga. Psychological thriller manga. This one, I was so impressed. Amanda Ross in the House of Transcendence. Really appreciated this one. This is mystery and thriller and fantasy. They got some necromancy in here too. So I thought that was really cool.
Is
And
that
then
one a
a
manga,
new
sorry?
page. Huh?
Was that one a manga too, or a novel?
No, this is a novel. Sorry.
Okay.
Novel. I gave you 2 comics, a manga, and then a novel. Coming up with another manga. I mean, another novel is Jackal.
You like
Absolutely
spoiler
love
alert
it.
for my book club live
I
show.
know, but loved it. But I did like I did. Were you in the live show?
I didn't want to know.
Oh, okay. Well, I said there was half things I said there, and there's another half I'm gonna say with you. So yeah.
Smart.
I
So
was in the live show
separate.
for a couple minutes, and I didn't want to get any spoilers because I'm reading it next month. But as soon as you said you loved it, I was like, okay, I need to pick it up.
Yeah. I loved it so much. She's agreed to do interview with me. So that will be in
Wow.
January. So
That's amazing.
after the full moon book club. So shout out to me shooting my shot.
I guess it's also a good time to mention both of these creators have book clubs of their own if you want to check them out.
Yeah, mine's a Black Classic Book Club, but we ain't reading horror.
It's still a good time. Okay, Jan, can you give us the synopsis of the book, please?
Yes. So we follow. Is it Marion? Marion?
I said Marion.
I don't know. So she grew up in the slums with an abusive brother, and she's basically just like, I want to create my own life. I want to get the hell out of here. So then later she finds this newspaper listing. Well, not later, just like right at the beginning, looking for a blood maid, which basically involves living in the book's namesake, House of Hunger. And so then she goes and we meet all these people who work for this Countess Elizabeth, along with all the other blood maids. I keep wanting to say handmaids because it reminds me of Handmaid's Tale so much.
I know.
But House of Hunger is one of these like 4 houses, but we don't really talk about. I don't know if it's going to be a series or what, but we don't really talk about the other houses. I don't know. And then so Countess Elizabeth is essentially the head of the house, and she has this like severe illness that requires an excessive amount of blood to drink. And then enter blood maids, where they're like ranked and like it's based on like the quality of their blood. And so she has like romances with some of them. So it's a sapphic vampire story. It's a grand old time. And then later on we find, I don't know why I just snapped. Later on we just find out like more sketchy, dark things that go on in the House of Hunger, and it gets creepy and intense real quick.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Real quick.
Yep.
Okay, we're still in the spoiler-free zone, so I would like to know now everybody's rating. I'm excited to hear because I don't know what anybody thought of it, besides like just a couple people in the Goodreads group. So if you want to give me one sentence that kind of sums up your rating, keeping it spoiler-free for the people who are here who haven't read it yet, maybe we can convince them they need to pick it up with our sentence or dissuade them depending on what they're looking for. So let's hear it.
Okay. So I thought it had like pretty 5-star vibes for most of it in terms of like the vampire parts and the gothic atmosphere, but I gave it a 4-star because of the pacing mainly. And I need to feel chemistry between the lovers, and I didn't really get that, but I'll go into that later. 4-star.
Bree, what did you give it?
I just keep blinking out, huh? I really apologize.
We've got so many 5
like,
stars.
I'm never bringing you on for another book club.
Do you know your rating? Did you decide on a rating?
Actually, I don't. I'm in between 4.5 and a 5.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you why. You, Kayla, is a little bit of the inspiration in that. So I don't know which vlog I was watching of yours. I turned on YouTube, and you know how you forget to do anything else, and then it just starts playing a bunch of booktuber like videos. Sure. So then I was a couple of yours came on, and you were like, I think this book is a soft 5. And I was like, a soft 5? What is that about? So then I was like, wow. And then I started thinking about my own rating process. Like, even though I give books 5 stars, they're 5 stars for different reasons. So for me, okay, let me just say she's a 5. And she's a 5 for me for different reasons that I'll get into later. So I just need to go ahead and say, like, if I compare this to the Year of the Witching, I definitely enjoyed this way more than the Year of the Wishing. Different subject matters, different things going on, still set in, I don't know, the 1800s. It feel like early 1900s. I actually forgot, but you didn't ask for all of that, actually. But I
One
definitely,
sentence, Brie.
gave it. That was a little erotic, I think, what I just did. But let's take it back. But I gave it.
That was a run-on sentence.
It was.
It was a good sentence.
It was. She was going.
My sentence, I think, is I don't usually rate books highly that I would describe as predictable, but there's something about Alexis Henderson's writing that just really works for me, and it's kind of hard for me to explain. I guess that's my sentence. I gave it a 4.5 initially, and I actually reread like half of this last night because I was looking at like the couple tabs that I put in, and I ended up just reading passages, and I was like, no, this is a 5. Like, this is a 5. It is a soft 5, and by that I mean that if there were any other 5 stars this year, they're probably higher than this one. But it's objectively a 5. I think this is such a good book, and I'm going on more than a sentence, so that's that.
You were living your life and putting you first, and we love to see it.
So, Brie, you're telling me if I read The Year of the Witching, I'm going to hate it compared to this?
I'm not telling you you're going to hate it. I think I rated that one a 4 or a 5. Like, they're both high ratings for me, different reasons. Like, I love the historical fiction pieces. The atmosphere is similar, I would say. You're getting some dark gothic kind of vibes. But in the Year of the Witching, I just felt like we got more background story. I don't know if that's making, we got more history of what's going on than we did in House of Hunger, which I think is great because for Year of the Witching, one of my biggest critiques of that book is that it should have been a duology, because I felt like she was putting too much in it and it could have been spread it out. Versus this one, I felt like, and bam, and bam, and bam, wrap up, we're done. Loved it. Love to see it,
Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard mixed things about Year of the Witching. That's why I asked.
I also loved it. I give it 5 stars. And I think we can talk about the atmosphere right off the bat. We're just going to go in order of like book review things, characters, atmosphere, writing. How did you feel about all of these things individually? So since we're already talking about atmosphere, let's get into it. We're in the full spoiler section. So if you haven't read the book, you might want to, the fact that all of us really liked it, I mean, you should go read it and you should come back. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So for me, what did I want to say? Setting atmosphere. Something that I think is really interesting about both of these books is I see the number one complaint about them being the setting and atmosphere and world building and how there's this grander society set up, but then we don't get to hear about it. And I actually think that's my favorite thing about her writing that does work for me is it feels so claustrophobic because we're just in this small village or we're in this one house the entire time. And you understand the world to be so much bigger, but you're stuck in the mind of the main character and you're only learning what she gets to learn. And I think that's my favorite thing about the atmosphere itself. What did you guys think about?
Yeah,
setting?
I thought the same, so the setting is pretty much like a prison, right? Because it's just one house. But I feel like you forget, at least I did, I forget about it being that setting because it feels like everyone wants to be there. Like they're not being forced to be there because of the magnetism of the Countess's personality and the whole power dynamic and learning all the rules and stuff. And essentially they chose to be there, but at the same time they can't really get out at that point. So yeah, but my favorite part was the atmosphere of the book, the way she writes and builds it.
Yeah, I agree with what everyone else is saying. Also, I heard that one of the critiques of the book is that it feels claustrophobic, and people are like, I'm gonna have to head out. But for me, rather it's an emotion, there are certain emotions that I don't like feeling, which is feeling claustrophobic. But somehow I was like, I love that you're making me feel this way. Like I'm so happy that I feel like I'm in a world. It felt the moments of the story that really enhanced those like claustrophobic feels. Um reminded me a lot of when I read like high fantasy and I'm like, I'm in this world. Like I really felt like I was in the world and moving along with the main character as well. And I felt like to write something and to make a reader feel like that is a strength.
Yeah, I
And
feel like
I
it was
was like,
the author's intention to make you feel
I
claustrophobic.
was like, I'm here for that. I just really like that. Let's make sure we get this in there. Okay, cool.
Beautiful. Actually, let's move right into characters because I want to know how you felt about Marion as a main character. Her motivations and decisions throughout the story. Did you find them believable or relatable, or just anything you want to share about your feelings about her as a character? I don't want these questions all to lead like positive either, because I know that there are people who have such a mix of ratings. So if you didn't like it, feel free to like have your moment where you rant about her.
I'm ready.
Yeah. You can go first if you want to get it out.
I was letting you go, Jan. I was going to sit here and stir. Marion almost got these hands 8 times. She almost got these hands. I was like, sis, the pootatang, the pouce, le cat, le chat cannot be that great that you are out here ignorant in this house. You came from the dirty, the bottom. Drake said, started from the bottom, now you here. And you were here in this house and acting like a novice, like you ain't been eating crackers for dinner. Like you ain't been out there in them streets trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. And then you get up into this house and act ignorant.
Okay, listen, I was going to mention that. I was going to say she's relatable in that sense because I've been notorious for chasing red flags. So I honestly don't blame her, but she did piss me off a lot. And she was kind of annoying with her like martyr hero complex. Like, couldn't stand that. I was like, why are you? Oh wait, is it spoilery now?
Yes, full
right.
spoiler.
Yeah.
Why are you letting them go without you? Why are you letting them go without you? But I like her, like she has spunk, she has cynicism, I liked her personality in some sense, and the fact that she did what she did to get out of the life that she had might have not been the best choice, but she just wanted a sense of belonging. She wanted to take control and have the choice in general. What else did I put? And can we just talk about her killing her brother?
Thank you. I'm gonna follow your lead because
because I love that scene.
It happened so fast, and then she just like never thought about it again.
So fast. My thing is this, and what I'm about to say is really effed up. But what I'm saying is, how do I preface this?
He deserved
it. This is what I'm gonna say. I've been slowly coming into, or not even coming into, going back, taking parts of my youth and instilling it in this adult life right now, meaning of like just telling people how I feel, and stop keeping it in the inside. And I don't know how to say this. Listen, I would have poisoned brother in his sleep. Yo, sick ass is not about to talk shit to me. You are not about, and I'm helping you, mother. Are you for real? Be fucking for real. You are not about to talk shit about me. And I'm watching you limp. You can barely breathe. You on one lung in a wish, bitch. And you gonna have the audacity to come at me? Oh, I'm killing you in your sleep. What? She up here being in her inner monologue when she's like, I want to be there for my brother. Your brother is a shitty human being.
Yeah.
Shitty. He's awful. Clip that bitch. Clip him. What he gonna do? He can't fight you? He can't beat you up?
Yeah. He was so codependent and toxic and just like gaslighting her, telling her that she can't survive on her own, that she needs him and stuff. And I was just like, just do it. Just do it. Just end it.
Okay.
I like the description of that scene because I think it set us up for like what the description was going to be like as far as gore, because it was like he was lying on the floor, you could see the pink inside the bone shards. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And it shows her capabilities too.
Oh, I love it when it got to the point when they were like, he dragged himself to the streets and the dogs got him. I'm like, yes, and eat them some more. And have lunch, dinner, breakfast, brunch, all that. Yes, love it.
I feel like I enjoyed Marion as a character a lot. I think she had really believable intentions. I think that her lack of feeling belonging and feeling like an outsider and wanting to feel wanted and wanting to feel like she could have a future for herself and this was her only option, like it made sense to me. And I also liked the vibe when she entered the house and like she wanted to be the best right off the bat. She wanted to be the most important. She wanted to be the most loved, but she also like kind of supported the other girls, and it was like immediately like a group and they all were after the same kind of thing. And I just really liked that vibe. I have a recommendation at the end that reminded me kind of that I want to remember to talk about. What other characters stood out for you? Actually, I want to run through the characters really quickly. We had Raul, who is her brother. We had her friend Agnes, both of them telling her not to go to the house. We had some of the other blood maidens, Irene, Evie, Elise, and then the little girl May, and then Cecilia. And then obviously Elizabeth, I guess is how you pronounce that. And then there was like a house mother, there was a tutor. Those are the characters. So of all of them, is there somebody who stood out to you, who you enjoyed reading from, or who you wanted to read from more of?
I think we've had enough of the characters I'm going to mention. Like Elizabeth, obviously, she was, she stood out. Cecilia, too. I have notes. That's why I'm looking down. I felt for her because, like, I'd be so pissed, too, if this new bitch comes in and she just replaces my ranking as, what's it called? Like, first blood mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would be so mad. So I get it. I honestly don't remember much about these characters. But
I know, that's why I wanted to say all their names right off the bat, because I figured like everybody's probably like, who were they? Because I know you read this one a while ago too.
Yeah, beginning of November. I tried to skim a little bit, but I forgot Agnes was her friend. But I remember liking Agnes's, like, she had like dry humor, right? And like sarcasm. Mm-hmm. So I liked her too.
Yeah. I forgot about this guy. Thiago or Diago. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Yeah. I had beef with a couple of the characters for sure. Let's start with Agnes. It's giving crab mentality. It's what it's giving. It's giving you can't get out of the hood without me. Like the thing is, I get it. I totally get what Agnes was saying and how she felt, and I wish we even got more stuff from her. But oftentimes people are in situations that they want to be in. They don't want to be in. Not everybody want to be slumming it. Not everybody finds enjoyment in slumming it. So being upset with your friend for wanting to get out it was giving crab mentality. Even if you don't agree with it, you know what I mean? It's just like that was one of the things I thought about, even though I did like Agnes. The next one is, did we need the cat character? I don't think we needed the cat character. We did not need the cat. The cat was a menace to society. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it with my full chest. A menace. This cat was scratching, biting, and this is my world. How is this your world? And this cat is whooping your ass on a daily. Whooping your ass on a day. You can't even sleep right. You got one eye open and the other closed.
I feel like normally people love like an animal character, but this one was not.
The cat, she could have left that in the draft, sis. You could have left that in the drafts. My next beef I have with is I wait the tutor guy. Why
Jeffrey.
did you? Oh, soon as he opened his mouth and was like, "I gotta tell you something," I said, "The old me dead and gone, dead and gone." He's out. I already knew right away, right? The other guy, when she ran to him and was like, they were playing the game, and she
Mhm.
was trying to tell him, like what Elizabeth is doing. I mean, what the Countess, sorry, was doing, and she's telling them, trying to find a plan for her to get her and her girls out, and it was a scene when it was like and he put the fan in front of him and he had a grin, and then she went to his room. I mean, went to the countess room. They chatting it out, whoop de whoop de woo. And then she passes the bedroom and dude dead. I said, that's what you get, motherfucker. Like, if somebody is telling you, yo, she killing folks for real, capital A, capital I, capital L, L, kill. Okay. And then you go and have a conversation with, let me tell you, your first maid trying to X-nay. You think you ain't about to be murdered next, fool? Like, you set yourself up. And now you out there with poison, looking like you a part of a painting in the 1600s, just over there dead, dead and gone. I said he did that to himself. That was beef. I had beef with the lady in charge of the house. She got every bit of what she needed because she
Yeah.
was out here a snake in the garden. Couldn't
Wait, I'm
stand
gonna
her.
interrupt because this is perfect segue. So Cami and I were talking about this character, Elizabeth, and she said it's probably based on Elizabeth Bathory.
Mhm.
Bathory. Did you guys get those vibes too? Apparently, she like
Who-
I've never heard of her, but Cami said she like drank virgin's blood or whatever. Isn't that wild?
Absolutely. She was like one of the first, I guess, like serial killers.
Yeah.
I think there's a bunch of vampire type
Oh, I know who
stories
you're
that are
talking about. Yes.
based on her.
She
I
was
was
like the
actually
cousin.
I was
Glad
surprised
they-
that the book actually like referenced her, that gave her that last name, and I wasn't expecting it to be such a direct reference.
Oh, that was her last name?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, this
So
is not
it
her.
was
I
a
guess
while.
it wasn't too subtle.
I feel like it was a while into the book because it was like subtle references, and then I was wondering if it was going to go more vampire or stick with the original story, which was just like she took a lot of young women's blood and believed that it kept her young. And I think that we kind of got a mix. Like you could definitely interpret this as a vampire story, I think, because there were some like paranormal ideas in it, but it also was very just like real world, like horrific ideas of
True.
exploiting all of these young women just to drink their blood because you believe that it keeps you young, I guess.
I think it was pitched to me as a vampire story. That's why I was interested in it.
Yeah, exploiting is one thing I kept thinking about. Like this, there's also ties and themes to like real life. Uh-oh, not we getting into it. Thank you.
Wow,
But yeah, for
segue.
sure. For
Seamless.
sure.
I feel like that's what you were switching into, like what the themes themselves. What were you enjoying about? I guess are there any like scenes or quotes that stood out to you, or just like what did you feel like were the themes of the book that you were taking away from it? Mine was obviously exploitation.
Yeah, what I got was like the power of money and how it affects your lifestyle, the power of wealth, classism, because like, you know, the ranking and the quality of the blood that kept being mentioned throughout the book. That was my main theme that I caught on to. But I don't know if anyone else did. I don't know for sure.
No, I agree. I got poverty, codependency. Someone else said that, but I was thinking it as well. And then
Obsession.
also like manipulation, also like what is it called? Oh my god.
Obsession.
It's like when you assume something is going to happen to you, like you high expectations or something like that is what I also got. um Heavy on that, heavy on the classism and wealthy disparity. um It was definitely giving like bourgeois. What is it? I can't even speak French right now. The bourgeois.
Bourgeoisie.
There
Bourgeoisie.
we go, bourgeoisie. I'm like French. What is it? Français. Je ne sais pas. So a whole struggle there, but yeah. So it definitely gave that. I also it gave to like there are people, certain citizens, and in this book we learned it, women who are not being seen as being a full human being. They are second class citizens. So that theme just kept rolling throughout the whole book because the Bloodsmaids were um, dispensable even when Marion found the records and realized none of them have been paid out. They've all been murdered, killed in jars and shit. So that was, we just got constant, what is it called? Just we were constantly being told just how expendable those young girls were.
Draining the life out of someone as abusive relationships. Yeah, that's another reason why it screamed vampire to me, because that's like a common theme in a lot of vampire books that I've read, if not all of them, is the toxicity in relationships, especially in A Dowry of Blood. Let me just sneak that in again. But what else was I going to say? My favorite quote. I had my finger in the book. One of my favorite quotes in the book was on like the heading of chapter 2, like the little quote in italics that says, "We are all alike in the fact that our great life's work is deciding who and what we are willing to bleed for." And I feel like that sums up a lot of the themes in the book as well, with like the obsession and things you do to satisfy others and how you choose yourself.
I don't have a favorite quote. I have a favorite section. It is the last section of the book, which is interesting because I typically forget the last piece of books. But when they were just trying to make it, got out the house, got to the train station, and realized it was a blood print on the check, and was like, "This is the end. That's it." And the guy who works there just looked at them and said, "I have a daughter." Folded up the check, put the check away, said we didn't have this conversation. It was just that act of kindness that it pulled to my heartstrings.
I think
know. No, go ahead.
One of my other favorite parts is when she finds Cecilia as the wretch.
Oh,
that was so creepy.
Oh,
that was so creepy. That's all I wanted to say.
I do feel like if I was trying to explain my soft five, I think like there could have been a little more care taken with like mystery ideas and like everything connecting, because just like seeing the word wretch carved into a thing, it didn't lead her necessarily to like different research, which it could have. It was just like, oh, well, now I understand what wretch means when I meet the Cecilia in the basement. And now it all makes sense. But I feel like it could have like led her down some more research things. Like if there was more of an actual clue, I don't know.
Yeah. Going back to a previous beef, just going to be there momentarily. Sorbet action, of course. When the Countess and Marion was together, and she was like, "Oh, you're the one that I really love. I've been ignoring you because I really love you and all this." And I said, "You believe this bitch?"
She did.
She just wanted
to be wanted.
She wanted to be wanted so badly that I don't know. I know that people say they didn't really get the chemistry, and I totally understand. But I don't know, just Marianne just wanted to be there so badly that she was willing to overlook so many things. And I don't know if it was that she was so in love with Lisbeth or what it was, but I just think she had such hopes and dreams of getting out of this with power and money, and she would just go through whatever it took. I think it was pretty expected from the very beginning that she was going to find out that the girls had never been in the house for more than like a year. I feel like that was a pretty expected thing, that these girls didn't actually end up with wealth and amazing things afterwards. But it was still really hard to read the scene where she found that out and just the effect that it had on her. I think my favorite scene, though, was when she went to pull out her tooth And she just really committed. And I was like, holy shit, after all of this, you're still about to rip out your tooth?
Oh God.
Yeah, the tooth scene, I had to pause and said, "Look, I'd have been like, bury me a G, bury me a G. I'm not giving you one of my pearly whites. So when I'm 70, I'm gonna already be without. My teeth already heading out. It head out as I age. So you just gonna do this to me early? How dare you?" Also, I agree with Jetty Bookmaster Ivy. I this is the first time I'm hearing that the chemistry didn't work because I thought it was hot and spicy in that joint, especially when they were like, "Oh no, you don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You don't care." It was like rub rub, and I was like, "Wow, that was fast. Look at that.
And
Get
the
you a little
bathtub
rub on.
scenes.
Amen. Let's rub it out."
Okay, as far as the ending though, and like I want to talk about the future because I feel like, and a bunch of people have mentioned that this feels like the start of a series. So I'm just interested to know if you see this as a series, what do you imagine that it follows in the future? Who would you want a sequel kind of from? Or do you feel like this exists as a standalone and you are satisfied with what it did?
I have a feeling it'll follow like other houses, but if we're talking about the same characters, maybe like May as a new adult, or like one of the others also getting sick and then being like the new countess, but then that might be redundant, so I don't know. But yeah, those are my little predictions.
Similar to both of them have house in the name. House of Transcendent Kingdom. Lord Jesus, that is not what this is. House of the House of Transcendent. I said Kingdom Unite. And then House of Unger. Unger.
Francais.
Yeah, well, House of Hunger. Okay. What I'm saying is this. I'm embarrassed. Is that I do want it to finish in the other houses because I would love to see what's going on with them. I also want the countess to not really be dead. I'ma say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. If she's not really dead, I want Cecilia to not really be dead, but her blood mixed with Cecilia's as she was dying. Cecilia blood got into Countess blood got into Cecilia, and then she just became this new fresh body. And then she became the Countess. Amen.
There you go.
And then and her name was Countess Wretched, the main bitch. And then she goes out, and then instead of little girls, sorry, she was still in the blood of men with podcasts. Oh, love it. Drain them. Okay, anyway, so like I was saying, I would love to have other houses be explored because I'm nosy. I don't know if this will be a sequel or not, but that is just my pick for the day.
I agree. I feel like it was such an interesting setup. Like we learned that there were 27 noble houses, and now there's only 4. And there's the House of Fog, and there's the House of Mirrors, and the House of Locusts. And I think it's definitely set itself up to explore those houses. Like, why would you have 4 houses and not just one that you want to take down by the end of the book if you're not planning a sequel? I think my prediction in life is that she wrote The Year of the Witching, promised a sequel, didn't write the sequel. And so she decided when she wrote this that she wasn't going to ever talk about the sequel until she was done. So I'm sure that this is going to be a series, but she doesn't want to commit to it, and for fear of like disappointing somebody. That's just how I feel.
Are we never getting a secret to Year of the Witching?
I think what she has said is that the pandemic, made it really difficult for her to want to re-explore this story. She still thinks that there is a sequel out there in the world, but she doesn't feel ready to write it. And I think that's just like I just think that's a fantastic thing as an author to be able to admit to. But I know that she has spoken in like blogs and interviews that she feels kind of like a failure and like she's disappointed people. So I just feel like this is so set up for a sequel, but she doesn't want to talk about it yet.
Agreed.
Makes sense, yeah.
And I would read it. I don't care who it follows. I do think that there is kind of an opportunity for a prequel because she did mention, the original Blood Maid and how she washed up on the beach and that man found her and started feasting on her. And that's how the whole society started. And so there is, I feel like, the opportunity for a prequel. But I don't know because, like, do you remember when the Hunger Games got the prequel? I don't know if anybody read that, but I feel like it was hard to want to pick that up because that at the end of that book, the Hunger Games is still going to exist for so long until Katniss like eventually takes it down in the whatever book.
I have yet to read the Hunger Games in general. So
whoops. I just
Kick
feel
her
like
off the live show. No, I'm just
in House of Hunger, if they kind of they didn't take it down, but they kind of did. Like the society is over in a way. So writing a prequel would be like, okay, so we learned about the original story, but we know they're still just going to be in distress for so many years. So I don't know if it'd be worth it, but I would read it.
Same.
My last question is just, do you have any recommendations for other books or movies that you would tell people to read or watch if they like this?
A Diary of Blood and The Handmaid's Tale. those are mine. I can't really think of any more. There you go, Brie.
yeah, in the House of Transcendence. I think you would really like it. I will say, the House of Hunger is, I think it's for mainstream, for the most part. This is giving you unfiltered blackness, and they're both black authors. But I do think that when you traditionally pub, you have to write for a certain audience. And I don't think she was writing for the white gaze at all. I just think it was, more mainstream in the way that she wrote, beautifully. And this is indie published, which, they write a different way. Yeah. And I have an interview with this author as well, if y'all are interested, on my channel.
Yes, I'll definitely read that. It's on my TBR.
I think this is a great recommendation because it has to do with like society. And there's also this idea, I don't want to spoil it, but they have similar endings in a way as far as like weaponry and things.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that. As far as books, I feel like we've read for the book club that I would pair with this one is Catherine House and the Death of Jane Lawrence. They have different things going on. And like Catherine House, the girl going into the house doesn't know what she's going in for. She doesn't understand everything. So it's a different perspective for sure, but it is this idea of like obsession and manipulation. And then I wanted to recommend Girls of Paper and Fire because this gave me so many of the same concepts as far as like class discrepancy. There's sapphic stuff. It's definitely fantasy as opposed to any other genre. But there's like the competition, the camaraderie among consorts. It's all about exploitation. And I feel like this was a 5-star for me. So
me too.
Mm-hmm.
I need to reread that.
Also, if you're looking for like a duology that talks about like different houses having or different families having different things, I would say Blood Like Fate, Blood Like Magic. I don't know where my copy of that is at. Yeah. But this duology is pretty good in that regard. And as far as like, I don't know, like the vibes of it, I agree with someone in the chat. They said, what did they say? The Beautiful by Renee Audier. That series for sure.
That was vampires, yeah.
Yeah, that one's
certain
good. Certain dark things. I can't even speak. Yeah, that too. And Catherine House, I heard too many negative things, so I didn't even read it.
That's how I feel about The Beautiful. The Beautiful was coming out, and I love Renee Audier, but then so many people were like, "It's not good," and so I never picked it up. But maybe I should.
If we're just looking at sapphic vampires in general, the more like silly, goofy ones, there's The Lost Girls by Sonia Hartle. I guess I could grab it and hold it up. It's right here.
Please.
And then this is The Lost Girls. It's cute. Okay. This is young adult, and it's like more humorous, but it still has like a toxic-ish relationship. And then also The Coldest Touch is another sapphic vampire. YA.
What was it called?
The Coldest Touch. I think it's Isabel Sterling.
I hope people are writing these down.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. It definitely gives you stalking Jack the Ripper vibes for sure.
Oh,
I DNF the fourth or the third book, one of those. I DNF'd it mainly because I didn't have the energy to read it with my eyes. And I listened to it, and I think the narrator is, I do not like her.
mm. I'm on the second book, the Dracula one, Prince Dracula.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to come back to all of these recommendations. And if you didn't see, I recently made a video where I read a bunch of books that had been recommended within these live shows, which was really fun. So I think I'm going to do that again next year. So I'm excited to come back to the comments and check out some of these things that you're mentioning. So that is it for our final live show of 2022. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know, especially at the end of the year, it's so hard to make time for things that don't exist on your own channel. So I really appreciate you being here.
Ain't nothing really happening on mine.
Vlogmas season.
Everybody who read this, who's in the chat, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, we'll see you later. Bye.